Throughout human history, certain individuals have risen above the chaos of war to become legends. These commanders didn't just win battles, they rewrote the rules of warfare itself. They conquered empires, defied impossible odds, and changed the course of civilization. Today, we count down the 15 greatest military minds who ever lived. 15. Duke of Marlborough. At number 15, we begin with a man who never lost a battle. John Churchill, the first Duke of Marlborough, commanded Allied forces during the War of Spanish Succession in the early 1700s. Marlborough won critical victories at Blenheim, Ramillies, and Oudenarde. His tactical brilliance and ability to coordinate massive Allied armies kept French dominance in check. He won over 40 engagements without a single defeat, a record that speaks for itself. 14. Subutai. Subutai was Genghis Khan's greatest general, and he conquered more territory than any other commander in history. Subutai directed over 20 campaigns and won 65 pitched battles. He conquered 32 nations and led forces across 11 million square miles of territory. From China to Hungary, from Siberia to Persia, his armies were unstoppable. What made Subutai exceptional was his use of intelligence networks, psychological warfare, and coordinated attacks across vast distances. 13. Erich von Manstein. At number 13, we encounter one of World War II's most brilliant tacticians. Erich von Manstein was the architect of Germany's conquest of France and performed miracles on the Eastern Front. Manstein's plan to invade France through the Ardennes forest was considered impossible, but it worked. In just 6 weeks, France fell. He orchestrated the recapture of Kharkov and repeatedly outmaneuvered Soviet forces despite being outnumbered. 12. Saladin. Number 12 is the Sultan who became a legend even among his enemies. Saladin united the fractured Muslim states and reclaimed Jerusalem from the Crusaders. At the Battle of Hattin in 1187, Saladin crushed a massive Crusader army through brilliant strategy and knowledge of the terrain. He lured his enemies into a waterless desert and destroyed them under the scorching sun. Saladin conquered 75 cities and fortresses, but what set him apart was his chivalry. Even his enemies respected him. He fought with honor in an age of brutality, proving that greatness isn't measured only in blood. 11. Heinz Guderian. At number 11 stands the father of modern armored warfare. Heinz Guderian didn't just use tanks, he revolutionized how wars are fought. Guderian's theories of mobile warfare and combined arms tactics became the foundation of the Blitzkrieg. His tank columns smashed through Poland in weeks and reached the French coast in days. He won stunning victories in France and the early Soviet campaigns, often against numerically superior forces. Guderian proved that speed, shock, and concentration could overcome almost any defense. 10. Georgy Zhukov. Number 10 is the man who broke the Nazi war machine. Georgy Zhukov commanded Soviet forces in their darkest hour and led them to victory in Berlin. Zhukov defended Moscow when the Germans were at the gates. He turned the tide at Stalingrad. He smashed the largest tank battle in history at Kursk. And he commanded the final assault on Berlin. Zhukov won virtually every battle he fought, often against skilled German commanders. He coordinated operations involving millions of soldiers across thousands of miles. When the Third Reich fell, it was Zhukov who delivered the final blow. 9. Khalid ibn al-Walid. At number 9, we meet a general so formidable he earned the title, the Sword of God. Khalid ibn al-Walid was undefeated in over 100 battles. Khalid commanded Muslim forces during the early Islamic conquests. At the Battle of Yarmouk in 636, he faced a Byzantine army twice his size and destroyed it. He used cavalry brilliantly, employed deception, and never stopped attacking. He conquered all of Arabia, defeated the Persian Empire's armies, and helped bring down Byzantine power in the Middle East. In an era of expansion and conquest, no one conquered more against greater odds. 8. Scipio Africanus. Number 8 takes us to ancient Rome and the man who defeated Hannibal himself. Scipio Africanus studied his enemy's tactics, then used them to destroy him. After Hannibal terrorized Italy for years, young Scipio took the war to Africa. At the Battle of Zama in 202 BC, he outmaneuvered the greatest general of the age and ended the Second Punic War. Scipio conquered Spain, invaded North Africa, and defeated Carthage's best armies. He saved Rome when it needed saving most and proved that genius can overcome even legendary opponents. 7. Frederick the Great. At number 7 stands the warrior king who created a military superpower. Frederick the Great turned Prussia into a force that could fight all of Europe and win. Frederick fought the 7 Years' War against Austria, France, Russia, and Sweden simultaneously. He was outnumbered in every campaign. Yet he won stunning victories at Rossbach, Leuthen, and Zorndorf through superior tactics and aggressive leadership. He pioneered the oblique order attack, transformed military training, and proved that discipline and tactics could overcome numerical superiority. Against impossible odds, he kept Prussia alive and independent. 6. Julius Caesar. Number 6 is perhaps history's most famous commander. Julius Caesar conquered Gaul, invaded Britain, and became master of Rome itself. Caesar's conquest of Gaul added territory the size of modern France to Rome. His siege of Alesia, where he built fortifications to trap a Gallic army while simultaneously defending against a massive relief force, remains a masterpiece of military engineering. He won the Roman Civil War against Pompey, campaigned successfully in Egypt and Asia Minor, and created an empire that would last centuries. 5. Suvorov. At number 5, we find a general most have never heard of, but who never lost a single battle in his entire career. Alexander Suvorov is Russia's greatest military hero. Suvorov fought over 60 battles without a single defeat. He crushed larger Turkish armies, suppressed rebellions, and performed one of history's greatest military feats, crossing the Swiss Alps in winter with an entire army. What made Suvorov exceptional was his treatment of soldiers as intelligent human beings and his revolutionary tactics, emphasizing speed and aggression. 4. Genghis Khan. Number 4 is the man who built the largest contiguous land empire in human history. Genghis Khan started with nothing and conquered everything. From humble origins, Genghis unified the Mongol tribes and then turned outward. He conquered an empire stretching from Korea to Eastern Europe, 12 million square miles. No one in history conquered more territory. Genghis revolutionized warfare with superior logistics, intelligence gathering, psychological warfare, and mobile cavalry tactics. He won against Chinese, Persian, and European armies, adapting his methods to defeat each one. His legacy shaped the modern world. 3. Hannibal Barca. The bronze medal goes to Rome's greatest nightmare. Hannibal Barca crossed the Alps with elephants and terrorized Italy for 16 years. At Cannae in 216 BC, Hannibal faced a Roman army twice his size and annihilated it. His double envelopment destroyed 80,000 Romans in a single day. It remains the most studied battle in military history. Hannibal operated in enemy territory without supply lines or reinforcements for over a decade. He defeated every Roman army sent against him through pure tactical genius. Though he ultimately lost the war, his battlefield record remains nearly perfect. 2. Napoleon Bonaparte. At number 2 stands the little corporal who became an emperor and redefined warfare itself. Napoleon Bonaparte fought 60 battles and won all but 7. He crushed every coalition Europe formed against him. He conquered most of Europe and crowned himself emperor. He was a political genius and military genius combined into one unstoppable force, until the Russian winter and sheer numbers finally brought him down. 1. Alexander the Great. And at number 1, the greatest military commander who ever lived. Alexander the Great never lost a battle. He conquered the known world by age 30. He defeated armies 5 times larger than his own. Starting with a small kingdom in Macedonia, Alexander conquered the entire Persian Empire, the superpower of his age. At Gaugamela, he faced Persian King Darius with a 1,000,000-man army and crushed him through brilliant cavalry tactics and personal courage. Alexander marched his army from Greece to India, winning every battle along the way. He conquered Egypt, Persia, and parts of India. He covered 22,000 miles and never retreated. He adapted his tactics to defeat Scythes' chariots, war elephants, mountain tribes, and professional Persian armies. But Alexander was more than just a warrior. He was a visionary who spread Greek culture across 3 continents, founded cities that still exist today, and created an empire that shaped Western civilization. These 15 commanders represent the pinnacle of military achievement. They conquered empires, defied impossible odds, and changed the course of human history. These are the 15 greatest generals in history. If you love learning about the minds, moments, and decisions that changed history, subscribe to the channel so you never miss our new videos. Thanks for watching.